That's why I asked also the. Well,
Hey guys, this is me and Machiel, and yes, I'm still destroying his name, which I feel terrible about. Um, and we're doing a something like a 5 session series on in the 10Q range, what we should be thinking and how to get out of it. For this week, I had sent him a homework, which we apparently were confused about just what was going on, but we're going to take a look at a couple of the moves. I just pulled a random, uh, these are 2 8Qs off the KGS active games list, and I gave him a few questions. He didn't quite understand, so he looked at the end result, but anyway, we're going to look at a couple of these moves. So, in this 8Q game, it was white to play, and white played here. Now, white's supposed to play here, but I think it's a good idea to look at why, because if you don't understand the thinking, then you're not going to be able to punish. So let's start with if white does nothing at all, black's move threatens to actually kill the stone, making a very nice wall facing the right and building a very large top area. This is a very powerful move, putting white at quite the disadvantage. Okay. Now, what white moves stop that? Well, let's look at this one. Well, still there. Still Atari, white's dead. What about this one? Stops it.
Yeah.
So now we're doing something positive. This one, well, it's still a meaningful move, but we can Hane. He can't cut us because of the thing. Okay. But of all the moves that stop it, this is the one that also threatens to surround. So this is actually a two-purpose move, getting our group strong so he can't hurt us and threatening him. So I think to me that's important. Like this does the job, but this does the job and adds an extra purpose.
I would say also like going more out into the middle, right?
And
like
heading
if
up to
you
the
would
middle,
go to the sides, it becomes very kind of stuck.
yeah, as true as that is, if white's going to continue here, he's not going to move out to the center. He's still going to go to the side.
Yeah.
Because side before center. So if there was a choice,
you get an extra, you get center.
between A and B, and they're both fine, then I would choose A because side before center. But they're not the same. B adds an entire new deal. Yeah. Similarly, if there was a choice between this A and B, I'd prefer A because it goes to side. But that's
No, makes sense.
Okay. Then black plays here. And black should go, no, you made a mistake. I punish you.
Yeah.
At which point, since we're looking, I don't think I would play this move because that white group doesn't look comfortable. So instead, I would put it here. Oh, that white group looks absolutely comfortable. Even if he plays here, I'll just walk away. Very healthy group. This one move is actually very difficult for Q players. They feel like, well, I have to play here. No, the job is to get a healthy group on top, and that job is completely done very well.
Okay. Funny, so, my intuition would also be to just extend the one stone in the tab. Yeah.
Then white comes in. Now, white's saying, I don't want you to have that corner. That's a big corner. Well, if that was the only point, why should he be taking his own corner? But there's more to it. White should defend first. Okay, now we have a group. and we still have this later, or it's better for later. Black comes down. That's understandable. Don't let white connect. It's all pretty crazy cue play. But the next black move again. Black says, I don't want you to have eyes. And I want part of that corner. It should just be, you are surrounded. Yeah. As black, I have one wonderful group, and you have two pitiful groups. So this shows it's all about the strengths and weaknesses of groups, and this is like, I'm going to kill that.
And yeah. Do you think R16 for black also kind of, no, the one above, so 16, yeah. Do you think, because that also, yeah, you do also let him connect, and you can still move out.
First, this forces him to connect. Yeah, and we're still not connected yet. We'd have to add another move somewhere to be connected. Yeah. So our job, just connect. And this one, okay. Yeah. That's probably fine. He'll probably play here and would probably fix. And he's going to try to live, yeah. So just a couple things that really showed these cue ideas, which are just, to me, so crazy, and how we should be thinking instead. So that was the homework. Yeah. And it was a little tiny nothing, but I thought it'd be good. And now I will bring up the actual game we're going to be looking at. So, edit. Head over to downloads. And there you are. Then I need to share that one. Yesterday, I did my weekly Patreon lecture, and no live people showed up. They all said, well, we'll watch it later in the week. About halfway through the lecture, I realized I wasn't sharing the screen.
No.
Talking along, and no one has any idea what I'm talking about. I was quite embarrassed.
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So let's take a look. This is your game, and we're going to see how you did. You're the Blackstones. Yeah. All good and fine. Corner first. This is an old Joseki, but it's fine. Probably fine up to one down, really.
What's the other one? The more. Just shortly. Not.
So we don't use this move anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
And really, this is going to form a perfectly fine black group. So yeah. It's not a problem. But when you get into mid dawns and higher dawns, it's going to be used against you every time, and you're actually going to be losing profit. Okay. The idea is, first of all, white can just play away. If you continue, well, if white wanted, white can still form the group, but white can say, no, attack me again. And if you do, I'll just run out. You can't hurt this group because you can't surround me. So white got two moves away. That's big. White can also choose, oh, I'm just going to play a different Joseki. I want the outside instead. Well, that can be a good, so you're giving white, it gives white many options. Yeah. Including this, which is a really wonderful move. Life, points, sente. So the white has many choices. So AI's taught us, make it a forcing move. And then there's a whole, it's relatively simple, but there are a lot of variations. But still, it's perfectly fine.
No, but good to check before,
yeah. Okay, boom, boom. Our turn. You play here. This is fine. We know that we don't need to respond. It's equal, right? One black, one white.
So would you rather than attack in the corner, like with 3-3 on the left bottom, or?
Well, let's first ask, what are some reasonable responses?
Yeah.
These are all quite fine.
Yeah.
Pinching, perfectly fine. They're all fine. What would I do? Oh, I love the 3-3. I have points, I have life, you have neither. I love that. Go ahead, take Sente. He's going to play this way, and I am just delighted to have all these points in life. And what's White got? Something for the future, but nothing yet. That's my style. I really like this. This move, I played this for a couple years. There's a sense that it's somehow slow. I'm just a little group in the corner. Before AI, we thought it was a little slow. But I've always liked it. Now AI says it's perfectly fine. So I played it for a while.
Yeah.
There's something about this Joseki, and I'm going to do the show this kind of a sister Joseki. They're quite similar. In each case, Black has absolute points and absolute life. They cannot be taken away unless he wants them to be. For instance, if White plays here and Black ignores, sure, the points can go away, but they are real points. White, on the other hand, this Blackstone's alive. This Blackstone's alive. So White actually doesn't have points. But these 3 Blackstones and these 2 or 3 Blackstones, they're just never going to be used again the rest of the game. They're tucked away in the corner and won't be affecting anything, while every single White stone will be used in the future. So there is equity here. Okay. You came here. And I think it's a fine move. I wouldn't play it because we know Area 1 is smaller since Black has a low settled group there.
Smaller than the area on the left.
Say it again.
You mean Area 1 is smaller than the area on the left? Probably.
I am not yet comparing Area 1 to anything. I'm comparing it to itself. And we know that the triangles are small because of Black's low settled group there. However, White's 4-4 says, these squares are pretty big. So White likes the bottom, Black doesn't like the bottom. So it's like half big, half small. So I immediately hesitate. On the left, same thing. What about in the corner? No such thing. Full value. The bottom, I believe it's full value, but there's special qualities that say, it might not be that big. So you have to be careful to make it full value. So I think your move is fine.
Yeah.
But A makes more sense in a straightforward way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. But I was thinking about A, and I was thinking that White would get too strong on the outside. And I would have only groups on the inside, and that White would then build this gigantic moyo, which I would have trouble to come in because I'm only on the corners tucked away. Yeah.
And this example kind of shows what you're talking about?
I think so,
yeah. Granted. So let's spend a moment looking at that. We're giving Black this really big moyo here.
Gigantic moyo, yeah.
Okay. And then we'll have Black finish this one out. Okay, so this is the type of thing. This is the same thing we looked at in the game. It was just a smaller, it's the same concept.
Yeah.
We take cash. He takes this. I'm scared to death of the moyo. Now, pretty much everyone is scared of the Moyo. But we also know it's even.
Yeah.
Well, how do we prove that? So I've gone out of my way countless times to put myself in this position because it scares me. So I go in and okay, how do I prove this is fine? And there's various ways of just, yeah, everything's fine. Now here, this is an extreme case. Like, okay, it's really scary. In the game, in the actual game here, and let's have white continue the Moyo here. Nice, pleasant Moyo. So 2 lines of thought, and I don't know which one's best. First line of thought, it's scary. You don't know how to counter it. So feel free to not let it happen.
So step in immediately, or do you leave it?
Yeah. So instead of A, go ahead and play B, so you're not put in that position. Okay. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. On the other hand, let it happen because you know it's okay, and now you get to learn how to deal with it. Now, I find that, to me, that's like a roller coaster. I'm like scared to death. What am I going to do? I have no idea what to do.
I think it's not that hard to make a base inside the space right now. I mean, it's still possible. But it's like later on in the game, you're always on the outside. Yeah, unless you make the base now, then it's fine, of course.
So it's a scary thing. And so based on that, we kind of don't want that one because he could still build that Moyo. It's like this is the one that kind of gets rid of it, right?
Yeah.
So which any of them you want. And I think I marked them before, but A, B, C, D, any of them you want are just fine. Potentially E, not that it's a real attack, but E's a little too early. Okay, so your move is fine, no problem at all. I mean, this is not a minus. And then in the corner, yes. So perfect. If you play here, I'm on the wrong button, just a second. If you play here, we're pretty much guaranteed your opponent's going to play here. He shouldn't, but he's going to.
Yeah.
Now something is dead.
Oh.
If he comes out, this is just dead.
Oh.
Now, before AI, we're thinking, oh, this white move is simply a mistake. AI says, well, as long as white plays here,
there's nothing going
not a
on.
mistake.
Yeah.
White's doing just fine. So you certainly defended yourself and ended up with a healthy group. And really, that's all that's necessary.
Yeah, but it's a good one to know. Yeah.
So as 10Q, if you simply settle your groups like this, not a problem. I mean, you're really going to start playing better. And once you start playing better, you can say, well, instead of just defending, I believe that I can do more than that. Great.
It was funny because I looked to the bottom and I thought like, there's something there, I think with the other stone. But then I was just looking at the Hane, and then I looked at the Hane, and I was like, yeah, you play the Hane, you just block, you block, or you should make a whole mess out of it. I felt like, I didn't see
that's
it.
a lot to read out, lots to know, and that's a whole nother level. But what you're doing is simply defending yourself.
Yeah, and then
getting healthy groups, which is good. You notice this weakness you've got.
Yeah, I saw it.
Your move, now you have 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yikes. You went from 1 weakness to 2 weaknesses.
Yeah.
So
I think I read it out wrong. I thought it wasn't a problem, but then you can, of course,
Right.
just
So
cut.
if you
Yeah,
read it out and you're like, oh, I'm confident, then do it, because this is the better move if it works. If you're unsure, then play the one that's obviously stronger.
yeah,
So let's look at, does it work and why? Let's start with here. You're going to want to
yeah,
kill the stone, and you've lost the corner.
yeah.
Well, turns out that's not
Not super bad.
necessarily a bad thing. You do end up with a nice, healthy group in Sente.
Hmm.
So it's your move, and you have a healthy group, and there's Aji there. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not game over, but one can simply not die. Now you have a healthy group. So this takes readout. So I would suggest playing the simple way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. He lets you fix. Now, this bothers me
it's still
because
not
I still
fixed.
have two weaknesses.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I would play here without thinking. I wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm playing a high level game, okay, I have to think about it. I have to kill the stone. And now what's going to happen? Well, I think, some hard questions here. It's a
Yeah.
lot of readout. And even if it doesn't work for white, well, now it does. Now I have to take, and that means he wrapped around me.
Hmm.
So it's just, I don't like being weak. When I first got to six dan, I felt like I was a, pretty tough hombre. Oh, I'm six dan. Oh, and weren't a lot of six dans back then. Now they're everywhere. Um, but when I started playing the seven and eight dans, it became very clear that I was a very weak player. So I had to, get back to, okay, don't leave weaknesses. So there you go. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to play here.
Yeah.
Then I could start playing with the big boys and doing well and starting to win some games against eight downs. I can't tell you how thrilling that is. But this is, it's
Yeah.
fine, but start being more and more aware of Go is about strength and weakness. And a strong player is going to use this against you. Then you turn. Tell me why you turned.
I think I was still. This is a bit the trouble. I was still worried about the group itself.
Hmm.
So I was reading out this cut, and I thought like, oh, he's actually you can just cut off these two stones or at the
Okay.
bottom. And then I thought if I wrap around, I can at least move out if it gets into trouble.
Okay. So let me repeat that. As black, I'm thinking my A group probably fine, but I don't like these weaknesses.
Yeah,
I feel like I might get cut. And even if he just plays here, I'm feeling awkward.
yeah,
So
better.
I want to do something. Okay. I'm going to take off F3. What am I going to do about my weaknesses? Well, if I come up, I'm not bothering white. White's
No,
fine.
yeah,
I'm not even, and if I get another move, I might have reduced him by 3 points.
yeah.
So instead of center, I'm going to clear things up by going to the side, or
Hmm.
maybe even, once I get on the right button, maybe even the corner in Sente.
Yeah, so it's safe. Yeah.
So I want to help myself. Corner first, side second. Your move, center, is the last direction.
Hmm.
Now that's kind of uh, um, like you're in kindergarten. Your first grade. It's like very simple talk. Corner first. Well, most of the time, but not always. So we still have to decide. Well, how do I feel about corner? oh gosh, looks like Sente, and I'm totally strong now.
Hmm.
Do it. It's like, well, I don't know about that. Well, let's try side. That's another gap. Let me tighten that up. Right? This is your thinking process.
Yeah.
Or, hey, I think I can do it in Sente. I don't care if it's center. I get to do it in Sente. Well, I don't think that's the case here.
Mhm.
Well, you're like, well, I don't know. I think there might be something here. Great. So the real thing is which of the three ways, corner, side, center, is most useful.
That's the most one. Yeah.
And if they're, yeah, but corner, side, center is a great perspective. Okay. He comes here. You just said I defended my A group and it's still defended. So I'm not going to play again here. Where did you play? Good. You played away
Yeah, first
to
one.
the next biggest place. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the move. Good. And then here.
Yeah, here I was really doubting because at the bottom you see like both open spaces. There's a black group and white. I was kind of doubting if I should play on the bottom or on the top because in the bottom you don't really bother white and you grab a few points and white grabs the same amount of points. But then in the top, if white comes in, it feels like you could still take a big chunk out of the corner or the other
Yeah.
side, but I wasn't 100% sure. Yeah,
So you're thinking it's area 1 or 2,
yeah,
and area 1 looked bigger. So I'm playing area 1.
yeah.
Yes. That's great thinking. Let's add a little bit. If I play on the bottom, can I threaten to save that stone and then take a little area? So there are things to consider here.
But
But yeah, the top area.
how would you punish this if white wouldn't respond on your approach at
The
A3?
idea is that if white doesn't respond, there's a connecting under idea.
Okay, yeah,
White captures, you get to walk through and cause some problems.
yeah,
But the end result, if white does fix, let's just say white fixes, and now you owe a move, not that big. The
yeah,
top, huge.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I agree the top's better.
Mm.
Okay, where on top? Well, at the moment, he can live in our corner. When you play here, he can still live in the corner.
Yeah,
Well, that didn't change. Uh, you played a move which Q players play. They have a perspective that's a little twisted. So let's look at growing area 1. We're not going to take area 1. We're going to grow area 1. And I'll just put in some interesting ideas. Okay. Wow. Our area 1 has grown significantly.
hmm,
If you want to grow, that's the way to do it. You don't grow like that way. That's not growing. That's starting a perimeter. I
yeah,
don't know. I would say you're on the third line with A. And third line isn't great for moyos, great for growing. Because the
hmm,
moment you do, he'll come along and say, oh, third line, I'll just use the shoulder hit. You can't surround me. And it's just gone. Fourth line, big difference. Okay, so next idea, let's talk about taking.
1 second. How's the fourth line a big difference?
Well, that certainly is a great question. So we'll go to that variation and we will just
Yeah, put it
put it
there.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at the same shoulder hit, which AI says is a fine thing for white.
Hmm.
Okay. That's a nice chunk of territory.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, let's do the same thing on the third line. We're almost sad. We're getting almost nothing here. That's a big
Yeah.
difference.
Okay. 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 Yeah.
I
So
mean,
that's the.
let's just say 10 points.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
fourth
most
line is
they're
for growing. Say
trying
again.
trying to create this area on the third line is just way too small compared to.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's pretty famous, right? These exchanges, if we do this, yeah, it's just we're
Yeah.
not gaining anything.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So we're over here and not great for growing. So taking it. Here's
Yeah.
one way to take it. Oh, we have the corner and a nice area on top, which white
Mhm.
better do something about. Here. Yeah, we've almost taken the corner and a nice area. This one, which AI says, if we're looking at the corner, AI says this is a better because in both cases, A or B, you've got Aji in the corner. So if you're going to have Aji, play
Yeah.
A.
Better take it. Yeah.
Yeah. So in this context, there's a lot to yeah. There's some tough stuff. I
Mhm.
I'm going to say I want white to come in area one, at which point I'm going to start taking this. To me, this is a hard position.
Yeah.
Uh, what would I do? I'd play here.
Hmm.
I like there being extra width here. If I play AI's move, it's more narrow. I'm creating a less big space. I'm tempted to play this one. I actually have the corner and there's a wonderful area on top. I mean, the only reason I wouldn't play this because I'd be embarrassed. I don't want anyone to see me play this because everyone knows this is a bad move. Well, I'm thinking in this case, I think it's the best move, but I'd be embarrassed to tell someone that. So I'd play this one.
Yeah.
I think humans are so funny. I look at myself being embarrassed. I mentioned I did the lecture yesterday, and halfway through, I realized no one can see. Why would I be embarrassed? It's just really embarrassing. Okay. So the thing about this area, I think white can come in area one. I think white can come in area two.
Yeah. Still can. Yeah.
You're not really doing anything. So we
No.
want this to be more practical or simply more grand. Either make
Hmm.
it grand where you know it's not practical or make it practical.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then this compared to the growing, which you showed by playing on the right side. So you're growing the area by attacking the two white stones.
You were pretty muddled there. Did you say that this might be a good idea?
Yeah, I asked about the growing compared to the other move. Is it like
Yeah.
it's not per se better, but it's also a good move. So,
Yeah. I think this is a very reasonable outcome for black.
yeah.
I mean, we've made it grand, not practical. Well, isn't that a negative? Well, if you're white, aren't you worried? I mean, you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Hmm.
Well, we know what you're going to do. Okay. Now, white, what's white going to do? White's going to run.
He's not gonna
So
go and attack the corner.
say it again.
He's not gonna attack the corner first.
Well, shoulder hits, it's a very easy way of flattening things.
I mean, after the shoulder hit. So you have the shoulder hit, black goes up, and then you attack the corner or something after the. So black, one move more for black, and then white jumps in. And,
Like this
yeah,
way.
something like this. Yeah.
The problem is we're not going to do it right now, but white never got out.
Yeah, yeah. So you're gonna get
So
close.
a simple, I force you, and now are you going to live inside? Are you sure you're alive inside? It's getting difficult.
Yeah,
So that's a good question because I'm playing this move just out of complete habit. It's like, oh
yeah,
yeah, you get out, then I'll live in the corner.
yeah. You get more room also to
Yeah.
try to live in case it's
When you're
needed.
in fights, when you're doing stuff, probably starting at 4 down, you start learning just first get safe, then do your other things.
Hmm.
And before that, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna, then I'm gonna do this, and then all these plans. But against stronger players, they start falling flat because you never prepared.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And this I also didn't really. I was like, should I now jump in between the white
Yeah.
stones? I think I did actually. I'm not 100% sure, but I was like, I didn't agree with this move. I didn't know how to punish it. Yeah,
Yeah. That's that's perfect right there. I don't
yeah,
think this is a good white move, but I don't know what to do about it. Yeah. And this is pretty much very focused on why we're doing these videos.
yeah.
So you break it down into parts. Is he attacking my A group?
No,
Well, I always start with, does that bother me? No, I'm alive. Please play again. I'm simply alive. So, no, in my mind, he's not attacking me. Okay. Uh, and I'm just breaking it down. Is he trying to take area one? Well, if he spins 2 moves to take it, that's small. 2 moves for that little thing,
hmm,
two for 10, less than about 10 points. 2 moves for 10 points. They're both Gote. That's like in game, very small. Well, what is he trying to do? That's what he's trying to do, build a center.
yeah.
Okay. Now, I said something obvious, but it's the breaking down that I'm trying to get across.
Hmm.
Because if you don't break it down and you say, oh, he's building a center, I better do something about that, then you may well have didn't ask the question, is my A group okay? And all of a sudden you're in trouble. So you've got to make sure you're not in trouble before you start dealing with his moil.
I think I actually did 2 steps and not the three. So I went like A group is fine, and then I thought like it's a mistake. It should be punished, but I didn't look at what White's next move would be. I think.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly, but
Okay. So in our process, we're okay, he's okay, and we're deciding that his area two is the point of our next move. We're going to be dealing with area two. Does that process sound good so far?
hmm,
Okay. Now our job is, what else can I do? I'm going to deal with area two. And, well, remember this whole deal I was looking at? I
hmm,
am totally dealing with that area and doing something magnificent. Two-purpose move, a very big two-purpose move.
yeah,
And he's like, oh no, I'm still going to do it. Yeah, please do it. Oh, I'm going to make my center. I'm making my center. It's like, really? It's just so small. Yeah.
hmm,
So if you grow your area, you diminish his, and we found a two-purpose idea.
yeah,
Now, he may well fight you on it. Okay, then we'll fight. You might decide, I don't like this fight. I feel like I'm too far inside White's area. All right, well, then maybe go with this one. So you're really going to attack that white stone. White really wants to connect under,
yeah.
and you're not at all behind white enemy lines. So it's still going to work out. So we're really talking about the point of these videos, and that is you realized A's fine, and he's going to do this area 2 thing. What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you don't look at moves. You look at ideas. Deal with area 2, and I think I can build mine. And you don't know how. You think, well, I think I'll try this one. Okay. Might not be best, but you're doing the job. I better get my group home. Get my group home. Better save my stone. I'm going to get home. I mean, you just work it out step by step, whatever it's going to be. You might, I mean, who knows what you're going to decide? But you try to link 2 ideas together.
Yeah.
And then next week, when you're 3 done, you start working 3 ideas together. Yeah. You take your basic 7 done. They just see the things that are there on the plate. You'd see, I got my carrots, I got my steak over there, mashed potatoes. How am I going to work these together? They just see the stuff and start organizing.
Mm-hmm.
Notice you're playing in area 1, tiny area that's full of white stones.
Yeah.
Wow, you could die so fast. That's dangerous. Well,
Yeah.
this one, not dangerous at all. Yeah,
No, I
yeah,
think I was still focusing on like sides and territory
yeah,
and not yet looking at the
yeah,
bigger white area that white was making. I think it didn't cross my mind at all at this point in the game.
yeah,
I was still looking at the other black stone in the bottom, and I felt like,
right.
there's some stuff there that should be responded to, but
Yeah, this is really an excellent example of the way you used to think or not quite think. And now you're going, okay, what's area 1 is not big.
no,
But wait a minute, I've got this A stone, this B stone. What should I do with it? Well, doesn't seem at the moment there's much I can do with it. I
yeah,
don't need to do anything about it. So I'll wait until it shows up, until the opportunity arises. So later, when some fights happening, things got different. It's going to happen every time. So
yeah,
I just made something up, right? Just
hmm
random stones. But the point is, these things always come up, and you
yeah.
can
So there's no
start.
reason to immediately take it, so to say,
Yeah,
use it.
it's if you don't use it right now, it's still there.
Yeah,
And if
and
you
also I
play,
see. I mean, if you play in there and white just goes up, white is also building this whole area on top, and you're still left with a. Oh no, you can connect on the bottom. Yeah,
yeah, okay, here, and now that is one difficult stone.
yeah,
Good. Assuming you want to work with this stone, only move.
yeah,
I think the better alternative is to say, oh, what a weak stone. It's yours. Please take it. It's going to
yeah.
cost me too much to save it. And it's how many points is it now? 5? Tiny little area.
hmm
I mean, it's if we're going to try to consider this area, I'm not even sure I could get my fingers in there. It is so small, tiny. Yeah, take it, please. I don't
Yeah,
want to do anything difficult. This is a big concept. If it's hard, don't do it. Find the easier way. And that's some people might not understand. That's extremely valuable concept. Finish. You didn't get out. Am I
hmm
safe? Oh, I'm on the wrong button. Just a second. How do I feel about getting surrounded? I feel terrible. Then don't let it happen. What about my other stuff? One thing at a time.
yeah,
You started something, don't stop till it's done. Let's check it out. Then we ask, how do we feel about this? I'm not feeling too good. Great. And then I'm going to get out again. And then you ask, how do I feel? Just a second. I'm starting to feel okay. And if you go, I'm just not feeling it, then come on out.
I think I was afraid of white getting too much on the
Yeah.
side by just,
So you
but it was already
shouldn't
the mistake in the beginning.
you
So
shouldn't have saved your stone.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
you are going to find yourself in this position.
Hmm.
So once you're on a road, stay on the road finish the job. That's a big deal. Now, let's look at something else. Is white now going to invade area one? No. You have Big Brother ready to snatch them up. You're creating a large area on top by doing this. So it's not just a loss. You're also gaining. It's a bad premise. Don't play here. But if you do, giving up that one black stone, not a problem. Giving up these two stones, big problem. Okay. Very complex. Very complex. Yeah. This is all Q chaos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weaknesses everywhere. It's just like one big ball of weakness. Yeah. Really tough. Oh, I like that. You fixed. And the fix at one, the cut at one, you can ladder.
I think it's fine, right? You can
So you
go.
now have an actual healthy group.
Yeah.
Now, not something I would do, but we have reached a logical conclusion. Good. Okay. So we saw a lot of stuff, a lot of examples. So so there's a Mr. Yang quote. I don't know if you know Mr. Yang. He's for decades and decades, he's been the world's best at fundamentals. Just fantastic. He'll play professional nine dans using only basic fundamental moves. He won't do anything fancy, no strategy, just basic. He's really good at it. And one of his quotes, I do a big thing, I finish it, then I go do another big thing. Oh, I just ate that up. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to go do a big thing and then I'm going to finish it. So that's here, the premise. You have just started something. Now, it didn't happen to be a big thing, but you started something. Just keep it up till you finish it. So we see this one. We saw this guy over here. That's it's not practical. And you have, this is your sketch. You see what I mean about this sketch?
Yeah.
So we're not looking, we can grow a bigger sketch or we can start taking the points. Your move didn't grow it and didn't take it. So this, I'm not sure of how to define this or how to name it, but this is a Q concept. So something like, here you're taking the corner, or yeah, one of the, so grow it or take it. Don't do a move that doesn't actually do either.
Hmm.
This one was important. This move,
Yeah.
your group wants help. So if you're playing a fast game, oh, corner first. There, you just play it. If you're playing a slower game, I'm not sure I like the corner, which I'm making this up. So I think I'll play side instead. Or going against the rules. I'm playing center because I have a reason to do it. Great. Here, I don't see the reason.
Yeah.
Okay. We didn't come to great clarity, but any questions?
No, I think I asked the questions I had.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I appreciate you asked a lot of questions and made comments. I think other 10Qs are, going to get something from, right? They're on the same road and they're trying to, oh, I see. And so it's really good that you're doing that. And I appreciate it. So we'll try this whole thing again next week.
Yeah.
And see what you do. Okay, everybody, thanks for watching. And hopefully we'll see you next session, and we'll probably have 5 or 6 sessions. Okay, bye.